साथियों, कॉमरेड सीताराम येचुरी की दोहराना नहीं चाहता हूं।
उसमें उनकी ये खूबी थी कि
saving democracy. It was holding this country together. It was for the rights of every citizen in this country. He really believed that, and he ensured that we all stood together. If there was a misunderstanding, he was the first person to reach out, to resolve it, to bring people together. So, and he was such an enduring person, like he was such a tall leader. I remember when Supriya and I were in Rajya Sabha with him, he had this bag with him, and I think it really needs to be kept in some museum. It's an antique piece, and it could have come out in pieces also. It was that bad. So we used to keep teasing him that, you know, the only gift he needs is this bag to be thrown away, and we have to buy him a new gift. So every time he used to get up and go leave the parliament for his smoke, he used to be very worried whether we were going to throw his bag away before he comes back. He never treated us as newcomers. He never treated us differently. He was always encouraging. He was always like, I know he's inspired thousands and lakhs of young minds in this country. He was a great inspiration to us, and wherever we were, we used to run to come and listen to him speaking. He is going to be missed, just not by the alliance partner, the Communist Party leaders, the young youth of this country, I am sure even the opposition parties, even the BJP members would be missing him, because he truly loved people, even when he stood completely against their principles, and he fought against what they stood for in their entire life. He reached out to them with affection. He did not hate one human being in this. He did not hate anybody. I think he did not know how to hate somebody, and I truly feel that he's left a very huge vacuum, because where he was, the place was full of laughter in spite of his strong ideology and principles, and he was a fighter throughout his life. But the place he was full of laughter, of wit, and that is a very big space to fill. And I remember, that is the greatest thing I miss about my father, that, whatever it is, he filled the space with, wit and humor, and that is what kept all of us going. And I think Yechury ji will be missed a lot, and for a very long time. And what he said when my father passed away, he said, we will fight for what he lived for and what he fought for till his last breath. I'd like to repeat the same thing for Yechury ji. We will stand by what he fought for. We will continue his fight, and we will stand by what he fought for till his last breath. Thank you.
अब मैं भारतीय राष्ट्रीय कांग्रेस के अध्यक्ष श्री मल्लिकार्जुन खड़गे जी से निवेदन करता हूं कि वो अपने विचार।
इस मंच पर बैठे हुए सभी साथियों, यहाँ जमा हुए मेरे सारे कॉमरेड बंधुओं, आज हम सीताराम येचुरी जी उनको श्रद्धांजलि अर्पित करने के लिए यहाँ आए हैं। मैं सीधा एयरपोर्ट से, मुझे 4 बजे का टाइम दिया था, तो मैं सीधा यहीं पहुंचा। सीताराम येचुरी जी ये सिर्फ कम्युनिस्ट पार्टी के लिए ही एसेट नहीं थे, ये सबके प्रिय नेता थे और सबसे मिलते थे, सबसे बात करते थे। खास करके इंडिया अलायंस करने में उनका भी बहुत बड़ा पात्र था। उन्होंने हमको बार बार याद दिलाता था। वो खासकर सोनिया गांधी जी से मिलते थे और इंडिया अलायंस के बारे में वो आगे बढ़ाने के लिए और यूनिटी लाने के लिए बहुत ही कोशिश करते थे। मेरा पहला मीटिंग इंडिया अलायंस का मेरे घर में ही हुआ और उनसे ही स्टार्ट हुआ। तब फिर हम एक एक करके हमारे अपोजिशन पार्टी के नेता राहुल जी, हम बैठकर एक एक पार्टी के नेताओं को बुला कर बात करने के बाद जो बात बनी उसके बाद इंडिया अलायंस आगे बढ़ते गया। चंद लोग उस वक्त क्रेडिट लेने की कोशिश किए, लेकिन हमारे जहाँ साहब यहाँ है, तो वहीं से जो आदमी क्रेडिट लेना चाहता था वो हमको छोड़ के रातों रात भाग गया। फिर भी हम इसको आगे बढ़ाकर देश में जमहूरियत को मजबूत करने के लिए चाहे कोई भी कीमत हो, सभी पार्टियां देने के लिए तैयार हो गए थे। और आज दिख रहे कि रूलिंग पार्टी को मेजॉरिटी नहीं मिली, आज वो एक माइनॉरिटी की गवर्नमेंट है। इसीलिए बहुत से जो बिल वो आगे बढ़ाना चाहते थे और जितने भी बुरे कानून थे उनको लाना चाहते थे, तो वो अब रुक गए हैं। ये शक्ति सिर्फ जनता से आ सकती है और जनता ने हमको सपोर्ट किया। और खासकर येचुरी जी हमेशा रात के 10 बजे हो, 11 बजे हो, सुबह 8-9 बजे, कभी भी भाई इनसे बात करे क्या, उनसे बात करे क्या, वो मिले क्या, इसका हमेशा हमको याद दिलाते रहते थे। और एक तरह से एक दूसरे से बातचीत होने से हम एक दूसरे की सलाह समझिए या एक दूसरे, खासकर जब एक कॉमन आइडियोलॉजी पे या ग्राउंड पे मिलते हैं, चंद कार्यक्रम में मिलते हैं और कॉमन कार्यक्रम में जब हम ध्यान रखते हैं, तब निश्चित रूप से हम एक होकर गरीबों के लिए, मजदूरों के लिए, खासकर जो शोषित लोग हैं उनके लिए हम काम कर सकते हैं। इससे पहले भी जब यूपीए गवर्नमेंट थी, उस वक्त भी उन्होंने मनरेगा के बारे में बहुत इंटरेस्ट लिया था कि मनरेगा ये अवश्य है, ज़रूरी है और गरीबों के लिए जीने के लिए एक बहुत बड़ा कानून जो मैडम सोनिया गांधी जी ने लाया था, उसकी बहुत तारीफ करके वो हमेशा आगे कहते थे। और दूसरी चीज मैं उनमें एक खूबी देखा कि कभी गुस्से में नहीं आते थे और किसी को इंटॉलरेंस की बात नहीं करते थे, सबको समझाते थे भाई हो गया, वो चीज हो गई, आगे क्या करना चाहिए, फिर कैसा करना चाहिए। अगर जब तक एक आदमी मीडिएटर बोले, एक इंसान सोच बूझ के जो काम करता है और सबको लेके जाने की जब बात करता है, तो उससे हर लोग यूनाइट होते हैं। जब हम यूनाइट होते हैं तब निश्चित रूप से हमारी जो लड़ाई रहती है वो गरीबों के लिए आगे बढ़ती है। इसीलिए एक सच्चे जो प्रजातंत्र के लिए लड़ने वाला व्यक्ति, गरीबों के लिए लड़ने वाला व्यक्ति, पार्लियामेंट्री डेमोक्रेसी में विश्वास रखने वाला व्यक्ति, सबको समान दृष्टि से देखने वाला व्यक्ति और सब पार्टी को साथ लेके चलने वाला व्यक्ति। चाहे हमारे विचार अलग अलग हो सकते हैं, हमारा आइडियोलॉजी अलग अलग हो सकती है, लेकिन चंद कॉमन पॉइंट पे जहाँ हम मिल सकते हैं लोगों के लिए, गरीबों के लिए, उसमें उनकी ये खूबी थी कि मिल के चलना ज़रूरी है देश के लिए और गरीबों के लिए, ये उनका हमेशा कहना था और इस सोच से वो आगे बढ़ते थे। सबको सम्मान देते थे और लोग भी उनको उतना ही सम्मान करते थे। तो इससे उनका व्यक्तित्व बढ़ा। हम पहले भी, मैं जब लेबर मिनिस्टर था तो मेरे को ये कम्युनिस्ट पार्टी वाले सताते थे बहुत। वो पीछे भी बैठे, वेस्ट बंगाल के भी नेता लोग सामने हैं, साथ में हैं। तो मैं हमेशा, मैं इनसे पहले करता था बहुत से काम है, फिर भी मुझे छोड़ते नहीं थे। और मैं बोलता थोड़ा मुझे सोचने का टाइम नहीं, तो कोई अभी होना, फिर देखेंगे, नहीं देखेंगे, नहीं अब होना। तो ऐसी चीजें जब होते थे, अब राज्यसभा में जब येचुरी साहब थे, उन्होंने कहते थे भाई एक बार करने का गवर्नमेंट ने निर्णय किया है, वो करते रहे। खड़गे जी हमारे कॉमरेड है, वो हम उनके साथ है और उन्होंने हमारे साथ है, ऐसी बात करके उसको टालते थे। लेकिन हमने बहुत कुछ उस वक्त जो हमारे खासकर कॉमरेड लोगों ने कहा, येचुरी जी ने कहा, उसको हमने निभाया। और ये निभाने के वजह से लेबर डिपार्टमेंट में बहुत से चेंजेस भी आए। लेकिन अब लेबर डिपार्टमेंट गायब है, किधर है, क्या है, उसको कोई पूछने वाला भी नहीं है और उसके तहत काम करने वाले सरकार तो है ही नहीं। सरकार कहाँ है, तो इलेक्शन में है सब। हमेशा हमारे प्रधानमंत्री इलेक्शन में ही रहते हैं, तो उनको इलेक्शन का प्रधानमंत्री ही बनाना चाहिए, देश का नहीं। ये तो मेरे को ऐसा दिखता है, क्योंकि कभी भी बहुत मशरूफ रहते हैं, चाहे वो जिला पंचायत इलेक्शन हो, चाहे म्यूनिसिपालिटी का हो, चाहे एमएलए का हो, चाहे बाई इलेक्शन हो। बहुत देश की फिक्र कम करते हैं, इलेक्शन की फिक्र ज़्यादा करते हैं। तो ऐसे लोगों को झुकाने के लिए ऐसे व्यक्ति की जरूरत हमको थी। और मुझे बहुत बुरा लगा कि बहुत कम उम्र में, अभी क्योंकि इतनी उनकी हमको छोड़ के जाने की उतना वक्त नहीं था, लेकिन हमको छोड़ के वो चले गए। तो एक बहुत बड़े नेता हमने खोया। तो उस जगह को भरना अब आप लोगों के हाथ में है, लेकिन जिस ढंग से आप लोग लेके जाएंगे वो काम हो जाएगा। और खास करके मेरी पहचान इधर 10-15 साल पहले हुई थी, और वो उनकी बातें सुन के, उनके विचारों को सुन के हम अपने ढंग से जैसा काम करना चाहिए वो करते थे। इसीलिए मैं कॉमरेड सीताराम येचुरी को हृदयपूर्वक श्रद्धांजलि देता हूँ और उनके फैमिली को भी, कुटुंब को भी मैं धैर्य रखने का एक, उनके पास तो धैर्य है, लेकिन हम सब लोग उनको सपोर्ट करते हुए उनके जीवन में हम लोग हैं, हम आप लोगों के लिए हम आपको साथ देंगे। और आप कोई ऐसी चिंता करने की, चिंता तो होती है, लेकिन अपने को काम भी करना है और आगे भी बढ़ना है और उनके विचारों को लेकर भी चलना है। तो इसलिए मैं अपनी बात इतनी कह के, जो पहले से बहुत से आपको फोटो भी आप देखे होंगे, इवन इमरजेंसी में भी उन्होंने अपना एक पिटिशन इंदिरा गांधी जी को देकर एज ए स्टूडेंट नेता के रूप में उन्होंने कहा। उसके अलावा और कई चीज़ें हमसे मिलते जुलते रहे हैं, लेकिन मैं सारी चीज़ें यहाँ बताना नहीं चाहता। बस मैं यही चाहूँगा कि उनको आप सबका उनको याद करते रहिए। और दूसरे मेरे पास शब्द नहीं है, ऐसे व्यक्ति को खोए हैं और उसको भरने की जगह आपके पास है। और हम सब लोग यही प्रार्थना करेंगे कि एक व्यक्ति तो चला गया लेकिन उसके विचार चले नहीं गए, वो विचार हमेशा के लिए अपने साथ रहेंगे और उसको हम आगे बढ़ाते सब लोग मिलके चलेंगे। धन्यवाद, नमस्कार, जय हिंद।
अब मैं सीपीआईएम के पॉलिट ब्यूरो के सदस्य और केरल के मुख्यमंत्री कॉमरेड पिनाराई विजयन को आमंत्रित करता हूँ।
Dear sisters and brothers, it is with deep sorrow and immense pain that I stand before you all as we commemorate the life and legacy of Comrade Sitaram Yechury and pay homage to his inspiring memory. Comrade Sitaram Yechury was a Marxist ideologist par excellence. As General Secretary of the CPIM over the last 9 years, he had been leading the party and steering it ahead through some of its most difficult times. Comrade Sitaram's demise comes at a time when Indian democracy and secular polity needed him the most. At a time when communalism is trying to do away secularism, his departure is a big blow and leaves a deep void, one that perhaps cannot be filled. Comrade Sitaram's emergence and pioneering role as a student leader during the national emergency and his 3 consecutive elections as the 𝒗𝒊𝒅𝒆 president has been mentioned repeatedly. The fact that the 𝒗𝒊 community accorded a farewell to him inside its campus is a telling tale of how respected he was by his alma mater and how dear it was to him. It is heartening that even his death, he has inspired the Indian student community, something that he had been doing for around 5 decades. Comrade Sitaram had a sound knowledge of Indian history, society, culture and polity, as well as current affairs and international relations. He was exceptionally well read and was at ease and yet ease in multiple languages, already mentioned here by Karibadi. His public speaking skills were exemplary, that his lectures always attracted a huge audience. Comrade Sitaram had the innate ability to explain the principles of Marxism and dialectical materialism in such a way that even the most ordinary minds could make sense of his words. His party classes were widely sought after, especially by the students and the youth. Comrade Sitaram was truly a people's parliamentarian. During his 2 terms as a member of the Rajya Sabha, he always ensured that the issues that affected the ordinary and the poor of our country were addressed first and foremost by the Parliament. To him, national interest means the interest of the people of the nation, and to defend their interest, he would explore all avenues possible. His interventions on the floor of the House often left an indelible mark. As a seasoned leader of the opposition benches, on multiple instances, Comrade Sitaram was able to bring the leaders of various political parties together for the common good. It is in being able to bring about a political consensus on a wide range of issues that he stood out as a true statesman. He had played a seminal role in building the India bloc. The result of the recently concluded general elections underscores how effective the formation of such a platform has been in protecting our democracy and secularism. Comrade Sitaram was convinced that for Indian democracy to sustain its sovereignty and secular federal character should be protected, and that all sections of the people in the country should have an equal say in managing its affairs. He was also sure that unless our democracy is transparent, it will never work in favor of the disadvantaged and the impoverished. His battles on issues like the revocation of Article 370, CAA, electoral bonds, etc., to take a secular and democratic position forward, even at the level of the Supreme Court, underscores that conviction. In this era of neoliberalism, Comrade Sitaram's assessment of the issues related to workers and farmers has spot on. During the recent years, his interventions in mainstreaming the plight have been historical. The fact that the farm laws, a pet legislation of the ruling classes, had to be withdrawn following a committed and sustained struggle by the farmers of our country, underlines his farsightedness. As far as the LDF government in Kerala is concerned, we would always count on his guidance and support over the last 8 years. In his absence, it will sorely be missed. It needs to be mentioned that he had played a seminal role in ensuring the participation of various national level political leaders when we organized a protest against the union government at Jantar Mantar, in the backdrop of their encroachments into states' powers and finances. To him, such struggles were essential to defend India's federal structure. I deem it a personal privilege to have been able to work with Comrade Sitaram in the Central Committee and the Politburo of the CPIM. In the midst of personal losses and even overlooking his own health, he always remained committed to the responsibilities the party and the society had entrusted upon him. His departure is not just a deep personal loss, but a great loss to the Indian and international communist movements as well. As he did throughout his life, in his passing to Comrade Sitaram espoused the cause of scientific temper and held aloft the spirit of inquiry and reform. A shining star is resting in science. It is with an extremely heavy heart that I pay homage to the memory of our beloved Comrade Sitaram Yechury, an extraordinary revolutionary whom the entire country holds in high esteem. Thank you.
अब मैं लोकसभा में नेता विपक्ष श्री राहुल गांधी जी से गुजारिश करूंगा।
Good evening. For me, Sitaram Yechury was a friend who operated in the political system. When people look at politics from outside, it's not easy to see the dynamics that take place inside the political system. It's an unforgiving place, harsh place, uncomfortable place, and it brings out mostly the worst in people. It's rare that you see that politics brings out the best in a person. And I saw Mr. Yechury from the first day I started in my political journey. And I observed him quite carefully. And what I found was a person who was flexible, who listened, who, even though he was on the opposite spectrum ideologically, had the ability to understand where we were coming from, and he also allowed us to understand where he was coming from. He was a bridge, in a sense, between certainly the Congress party and other parties in the India Gathbandhan. There are people who are visible and they are up front, you see them, and then there is the glue that is not visible, that is hidden, but is actually what holds the structure together. And I would say Mr. Yechury was such a figure who, in the India Gathbandhan certainly, and the last UPA Gathbandhan, held the architecture together. And he held the architecture together because he was flexible, because he listened, and he didn't have the common traits that a lot of politicians have: anger, aggression, arrogance. These things were missing, and this is rare in our work. So he was a friend. I dealt with him a number of times, and I always noticed how the stress was countered with the cigarette. And this was always there. And I used to tell him, "Yechury ji, what is this? Why don't you get rid of this?" And that, I think, is the only habit that probably he wasn't able to get rid of. He was also very close to my mother, and I would say they were even better friends than I was with him. And a few days ago, he came to meet my mother, and they were sitting there, and I saw Mr. Yechury was coughing, and I realized that both of them have the same attitude when it comes to hospitals, which is that neither of them want to go to a hospital under any circumstances. I knew they were watching each other. So immediately I caught Mr. Yechury. I said, "Yechury ji, you're going in the car, you're not going home, you're going to the hospital." And I told my office people that, look, he has to go to the hospital. And he was smiling, he was still trying to say, "No, I'm not going to go." And that was the last time I saw my friend. I came to the hospital again with the view of seeing him, but unfortunately, that never happened. There were two moments when I was thinking about Mr. Yechury and I had no answer. One was when his son passed away, and I picked up the phone and I didn't know what to say. I really just didn't know what to say, and I called him and then I was silent on the other side because of what he was going through. Probably the hardest moment of his life. But then I met him a few days later, and the same Mr. Yechury, tough, brave Mr. Yechury was back. And then the other time I didn't know what to say was when I was writing to his wife after he passed, and I was trying to, I had got a draft. We get drafts of letters, and the draft just didn't fit. Normally the draft fits, and this draft just didn't fit. I had to cancel out everything. And so I was thinking, what do I say to his wife who's going through such a hard time? And the only thing I could say is that he was a person you could trust. He was a person that you were sure, 100% sure, that he wasn't compromised in today's situation where there are pressures. It's easy to get compromised. He was not compromised. And whatever he did, he always did for the interest of our country. Every single time, his starting point, and maybe my brothers in the left might not like it, but his starting point was India. And that was the point from which he began. And of course, after that was his political ideology, his political conviction. But whenever he would speak to me about the BJP and the RSS, he didn't say, they're doing this and they're doing that. He said, look, this is a danger to the country. What they're doing to our institutions, what they're doing to our structure, what they're doing to our education system is going to destroy India. And that's how he lived his life. I'm very proud to have been a friend of his. Thank you.
अब मैं भारतीय कम्युनिस्ट पार्टी के महासचिव कॉमरेड डी राजा से अनुरोध करता हूं कि वो आए।
Respected comrades, friends, leaders on the dais, on behalf of our party, the Communist Party of India, and on my personal behalf, I pay our solemn homage and tributes to Comrade Sitaram. Comrade Sitaram was one of the outstanding communist leaders in the contemporary history of our country. His demise is not just loss for CPIM, it is loss for the entire communist movement. It is a loss for the entire communist family. It is a loss for the country as a whole. That is how I look at it. My association with Comrade Sitaram began during our days in Youth Students Movement. I was in All India Youth Federation. He was in SFI. We used to participate and organize number of campaigns and struggles on the issues based on the youth student problems as well as the challenges that country facing. Comrade Sitaram, myself, had very close association, relationship He was in the Politburo of CPM. I came to the national leadership of my party. We both developed a close relationship. At national political arena, we started working together. When the United Front government was formed, both of us were nominated in the drafting committee of the Common Minimum Program of United Front government. Both of us worked together and shared our thoughts how to strengthen the Common Minimum Program for United Front government. When the UPA-1 was formed, that was the time, again we were together in the coordination committee and we took part in the drafting of the Common Minimum Program of UPA-1 government. And we used to participate in all very critical, crucial meetings where decisions, very critical decisions were taken. We also happened to be in Parliament together. We used to coordinate our work. We used to coordinate what issues we should take up on behalf of the left as a whole, on behalf of the communist movement as a whole. We were raising all issues of national importance, all issues of people in the country, particularly the toiling masses in the country. Sitaram used to be very brilliant and he used to listen, he used to suggest certain things also. So we worked together in such a way very closely. Then he was the General Secretary of CPIM. I became the General Secretary of our party CPI. Both had to put our heads together and we had to discuss very critical issues, not only about our parties. We used to discuss what will happen to the country, what will happen to the future of our nation. We have been fighting against right reactionary, communal, fascist forces. Why we are fighting? We are fighting for building a new India in which all our people will live with equality. All our people will have the right to lead a life with dignity. And we used to discuss what will be the future of India. It depends what will be the future of the left in India, what will be the future of the communist movement in India. The future of left and communist movement also has links with the future of India. So how to take our tasks forward? When Comrade 𝒉𝒂𝒏𝒏𝒆𝒍 was General Secretary of our party, Comrade 𝒍𝒑 was General Secretary of CPM. Both of them took certain initiative to bring both communist parties, to bring communist movement more closer. They did take certain initiative. Then both of us started discussing how to carry forward that process, how to strengthen the communist movement in India, how to strengthen the left movement in India. Unless the communist movement emerges a stronger force, we cannot defend secularism, we cannot defend democracy, we cannot defend the constitution, and we have to play the historic role to defend our constitution, to defend our democracy, and we should emerge as a force to be reckoned with. Then both of us put our heads together. What can be done? What we can do in the coming days when right-wing fascist forces have captured the power in India? What we can do? What we will have to do? And being communists, we should launch and continue an uncompromising battle against the right-wing forces. And we will have to save the country, save India, change India is our task. It is our objective. We are saving the country, and we will have to change the country also. We need to build a new India, a secular democratic India, a socialist India, free from all forms of exploitations. That is how Comrade Sitaram used to discuss with me, I used to discuss with him. Both of us were working together. When I speak about Sitaram, I feel I lost my comrade in arms in all respects. I take it as a personal loss, as comrade in arms in the struggles. And we keep talking about India bloc. We both were present in the first meeting that was held in Patna. We both were present in the second meeting that was held in Bangalore. We both were present in the third meeting that was held in Mumbai. And we tried to strengthen the bond among all secular democratic parties in order to save India. Desh Bachao, that is how that slogan emerged. Samvidhan Bachao. This is how we work together. And today he is no more with us, but his legacy remains. His legacy remains. Here, Madam Kanimari spoke. She was referring to Bharati. I refer to you, Tiruvallur. Takkar Thagavilar என்பது அவரவர் எச்சத்தால் அறியப்படும். A person is, whether he or she is worthy or not, will be determined by what they leave behind, what the legacy they leave behind. And Comrade Sitaram has left a great legacy. Let us resolve ourselves to carry forward that legacy, to build a new India, to take the country forward, and to give and to provide the opportunity for all our people to have equality and better life. India should emerge as a prosperous nation. As communists we may call socialist nation, socialist India, a classless, a costless India. And I hope the history will bring all of us. We may belong to different parties. Finally, we all stand for the country. We all stand for the people. And I wish we will have to carry forward the legacy of Comrade Sitaram, and let us pay our tributes and solemn homage to Comrade Sitaram. Thank you.
अब मैं आरजेडी के वरिष्ठ नेता और सांसद श्री मनोज झा जी से गुजारिश करूंगा कि वो आए।
शुक्रिया मंच के तमाम हमारे कॉमरेड। सीताराम जी के बृहत्तर परिवार के सारे सदस्य, और मैं इस बात से सहमत नहीं हूं कि कम्युनिस्ट पार्टी का ये लॉस है। सीपीएम फंक्शनली एक नया जनरल सेक्रेटरी ढूंढ लेगी, लेकिन हम लोग सीताराम नहीं ढूंढ पाएंगे। ये एक सबसे महत्वपूर्ण चीज हम सब के लिए है। मैं ये संदेश अपने राष्ट्रीय अध्यक्ष लालू जी और नेता प्रतिपक्ष तेजस्वी जी की तरफ से दे रहा हूं। एक बात मैं एक दो छोटी छोटी चीजें कह करके, आज ये मेमोरियल है उनका, वो भी होते तो कहते यार इतना लंबा क्यों हो रहा है, वो मैं उनको जितना जानता था और बहुत सारी बातें राहुल जी ने एक संदर्भ में रख दी है तो बोलना बड़ा मुश्किल है। मैं भी मैसेज लिखने के लिए बैठा था सीमा जी को, तो क्या लिखूं, तो मैंने कहा टेक केयर, मुझसे कहिएगा एनीवेयर एंड एनीथिंग, आई कुडंट राइट एनीथिंग मोर। ये हम लोगों की हालत थी। मैं उनके जो सहयोगी हॉस्पिटल में थे लगातार संपर्क में थे। ये आज के दिन उनका मेमोरियल मुझे अटपटा सा लग रहा है कि उनकी श्रद्धांजलि सभा में हम आए, क्योंकि हालिया जब आखिरी हमारी बातचीत मेरी उनसे हुई, उसका मैंने एक अखबार में भी जिक्र किया, तो उन्होंने मुझसे पूछा कि अब मायूस क्यों साउंड कर रहे हो। उनका जो ट्रेडमार्क स्टाइल था, सिगरेट उंगली में थी। मैंने कहा सर रिजल्ट तो वैसे नहीं आया, अरे चुनाव हारे हैं ना, हौसला नहीं आ रहा है। दैट वाज सीताराम येचुरी। और मैं एक चीज उनको बेहद पसंद आती थी, मैं कहता था कि किसी ने लिखा बहुत अच्छा पीस लिखा कॉमरेड पे, लेकिन उसमें ये लिखा कम्युनिस्ट विथ अ हार्ट। अब मेरा मानना है कि कम्युनिस्ट विथ अ हार्ट ये अनोखी चीज नहीं है। यू कांट बी ए कम्युनिस्ट इफ यू डोंट हैव अ हार्ट। क्योंकि और फिर मैं कहूं कि कम्युनिस्ट होने के लिए सीपीआई, सीपीएम, सीपीआई-एमएल का मेंबर होना जरूरी नहीं है। वामपंथी होने के लिए दिल से राजनीति करनी है, दिल बाएं तरफ होता है। तो सीताराम जी को ये मेरी बात बहुत पसंद आती थी, तो मैंने गाहे बगाहे कई दफा ये बातें कही। एक और चीज है, मेरी जिंदगी में पहला मैसेज जो उनका मुझको मिला, मैं तब तक एक दो जेएनयू डीयू में मुलाकात हुई थी। जब मेरा राज्यसभा के लिए नामित हुआ, मैं 2018 की बात है, 17 में कॉमरेड रिटायर कर गए थे राज्यसभा से, तो उन्होंने मुझको एक मैसेज भेजा, अच्छा हुआ मेरे बाद तुम आ रहे हो। दैट वाज अ गोल्ड मेडल फॉर मी। ये मेरे लिए किसी ने तब तक नहीं कहा था। मैं खुद भी नहीं जानता था कि मैं क्या करने जा रहा हूं सदन में, कैसे रखूंगा, कोई बार इन लोगों के थे। मेरे जहन में बार प्रोफेसर हीरेन मुखर्जी का रहा हमेशा, और बहुत कम लोगों को। असल में मैं मानता हूं ना कि कुछ जो बड़े लीडर होते हैं उनके लिए कॉपीराइट पार्टी का नहीं होना चाहिए, कॉपी लेफ्ट होना चाहिए। वो किसी पार्टी से ऊपर उठ जाते हैं। दूसरा एक जिक्र करूंगा, पढ़ते बहुत थे कॉमरेड सीताराम। जहां मौका लगा तो एक बार हम लोग जयपुर से आ रहे थे, वो सीमा जी की ही किताब थी, किसी जगह उनको मिली थी, 𝐬=mc², डेविड बोटानिस की, द बायोग्राफी ऑफ द मोस्ट सिग्निफिकेंट इक्वेशन। तो हम लोग, मैंने थोड़ी देर किताब पलट के देखी, मैंने कहा इंटरेस्टिंग है, तो बोले हाँ इंटरेस्टिंग है, तुमको पसंद है? मैंने कहा सर इसमें तो नाम लिखा हुआ है मैडम का, कुछ इनका नाम लिखा। बोले यू विल गेट इट, एंड आई एक्चुअली गॉट इट। वो किताब आज भी मेरे पास है, 𝐬=mc²। मेरे लिए बहुत कुछ दिमाग में गडमट सा भी हो रहा है कि क्या बोलूं, कहां तक बोलूं। मैं इतना जरूर कहूंगा कि नेहरू की मौत के बाद ब्लिट्ज अखबार ने जो हेडलाइन लगाई थी वो था नेहरू लिव्स।